For 1,000 years, they were the most feared warriors on earth, not because of their weapons, not because of their numbers, because of what they believed. The other was built in the shadow of Vietnam, a lesson learned in blood about what it means to fight in the dark, in the jungle, against an enemy you cannot see. One question, 10,000 warriors, one helicopter. What happens when the samurai meets the Apache? 1600. Japan is emerging from a century of civil war. The samurai class has been forged in the fires of the Sengoku period, one of the most brutal eras of warfare in human history. For 150 years, Japan tore itself apart, clan against clan, lord against lord. The survivors were not ordinary soldiers. They were something else entirely. The samurai followed Bushido, the way of the warrior, a code that governed every aspect of life. Loyalty above everything, honor above survival, death before disgrace. This wasn't philosophy. Bushido turned men into weapons that did not fear death, and a soldier who does not fear death is the most dangerous thing on a battlefield. Their primary weapon was the katana, a curved single-edged sword that represented the soul of the warrior. Forged through hundreds of hours of labor, folded thousands of times, capable of slicing through armor and bone with a single stroke. They also carried the yumi, a semicircle longbow, taller than the archer himself, capable of launching arrows accurately at 50 meters with enough force to penetrate light armor. And in the Edo period, some carried firearms, early matchlock rifles called tanegashima, primitive by modern standards, but devastating in disciplined volleys. 10,000 samurai is not an army. It is a force of nature. Their discipline, their coordination, their willingness to die, these were military assets as real as any weapon. But they had never faced anything that could see them in the dark. The United States Army introduces the AH-64 Apache attack helicopter. It was built because of Vietnam, because of the lesson that air power alone cannot win a war. But the right kind of air power, deployed at the right moment against the right target, can end one. The Apache is not a transport, not a scout. It is a pure killing machine. Length, 17.7 meters. Rotor diameter, 14.6 meters. Maximum speed, 293 kilometers per hour. It carries a 30mm M230 chaingun, capable of firing 625 rounds per minute. Each round is larger than a human fist. At combat range, it will punch through light vehicle armor. It also carries up to 16 Hellfire missiles, laser-guided, fire and forget, lethal range, 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers. The greatest samurai archer in history could reach 50 meters on a good day. The Apache can kill you from 160 times that distance. And then there is the TADS, the Target Acquisition and Designation System. Combined with FLIR, forward-looking infrared, the Apache can see body heat in complete darkness, in fog, in smoke, in the chaos of battle. The samurai fought at dawn because that was when visibility was best. The Apache prefers midnight. Let's put them side by side. Firepower, Apache wins, by a margin that barely deserves discussion. Range, Apache wins. The samurai's best archer reaches 50 meters. The Apache reaches 8,000. Visibility, Apache wins. It sees heat. The samurai sees nothing in the dark. Numbers, samurai wins. 10,000 warriors against a crew of 2. Terrain, samurai wins partially. Dense forest limits the Apache's ability to maneuver and target. Tight valleys and urban environments reduce its advantage significantly. And here's the Apache's weakness: ammunition. The Apache carries 1,200 rounds for its chain gun. At 625 rounds per minute, that's less than 2 minutes of continuous fire. It carries 16 Hellfire missiles. Each one costs $100,000. There are no resupply depots in feudal Japan. When the Apache runs dry, it becomes a very expensive piece of metal with 2 very frightened men inside. But 2 minutes of chain gun fire against 10,000 men is a very long 2 minutes. For this scenario, the outskirts of Edo, modern Tokyo, wooded hills, narrow valleys, some open ground. The samurai commanders know something is coming. They have heard it, a sound like 1,000 war drums, growing louder from the sky. The Apache crew has thermal imaging. They can see 10,000 heat signatures spread across the terrain below. The battle begins at midnight. The Apache comes in low and fast. The samurai hear it before they see it. The rotor wash bends the trees. The sound is unlike anything in human experience, a mechanical thunder that seems to come from everywhere at once. The commanders shout. Formations adjust. Archers knock arrows. And then the chain gun opens up. 625 rounds per minute tears through the front formation. Men fall, dozens at a time. But the samurai do not break. This is Bushido. This is what 1,000 years of warrior culture produces. Men who watch their comrades fall beside them and keep moving forward because retreat is not a concept they were trained to understand. The Apache pulls up, banks hard, comes around for another pass. Below, the commanders are already adapting. Disperse into the forest. Use the trees. Break the open formations. They do not know what they are fighting, but they know how to survive. The Apache switches to Hellfire missiles. The first missile obliterates a group of 50 warriors sheltering behind a ridge. The second missile follows a heat signature into a tree line. But the samurai are spreading, thinning, disappearing into the landscape the way only soldiers who have spent their lives fighting in this terrain can disappear. The Apache crew is burning through ammunition fast. Missile 8. Missile 10. The chain gun has fired 800 rounds. The samurai commanders make a decision that would have seemed insane to any Western military mind. Charge, not away from the Apache, toward it, because the samurai have noticed something. The machine always pulls away before it gets close. It never stays low for long. It circles. It strikes from distance. They do not know why, but instinct, 10,000 years of human instinct, tells them the machine is afraid of something. And they are right. The Apache's greatest vulnerability is ground fire at close range. Rifle rounds, RPGs, even heavy arrows at close enough distance can damage rotor systems, sensors, fuel lines. The samurai don't have RPGs, but they have 10,000 men with Tanegashima rifles and Yumi bows, and they are charging directly at the Apache's position. Missile 14. Missile 15. The chain gun clicks empty. 400 meters below, a sea of warriors is moving through the forest, closing the distance. Arrows beginning to arc upward toward the Apache. An arrow strikes the fuselage, then another. The crew pulls up, climbing fast, getting altitude, getting distance. At 2,000 meters, the Apache is safe. But it is also out of ammunition. The pilot radios base. No resupply available. Return to base or hold position. Below, 10,000 samurai warriors stand in the dark, looking up at the machine that killed hundreds of their brothers. It is hovering, watching, but no longer firing. The samurai commander raises his sword. The army advances. The Apache watches 10,000 warriors march into Edo. It cannot stop them, not tonight. Because war is not won by the weapon that strikes first. It is won by the force that is still standing when the last shot has been fired. The samurai army versus the Apache helicopter. Ancient soul versus modern predator. It killed. It ran out of things to kill with, and the samurai, bloodied, reduced, but unbroken, kept walking.